Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I don't think many people truly realize how close we are to things getting worse. See, right now we're all feeling the pinch, but things are semi-normal. We still have fuel and we still have food on the shelves. Technically, nothing is broken. But this is how exactly this kind of stage of scenario works. Things don't just collapse overnight. It's just going to be happening slowly. See, with the current escalations in Middle East, it doesn't create just instant shortages of anything. It's going to be causing us, unfortunately, a long-term effects and problems. So we are talking about, of course, the increases prices in food. We're talking about increases in interest rates. So of course, we're talking about the mortgages and rents. We're talking about the energy costs. Pretty much everything is going to be going up in price. And chances are that it's not really going to be going down. See, the part of preparedness is looking ahead. Okay, it's looking ahead, understanding what's happening and actually preparing yourself and your family ahead of the times. So in today's video, guys, I'm going to be talking about things I'm currently doing to basically prepare for this long-term effect. Number one thing I'm doing, guys, I'm trying to go through my pantry and itemize it, but not in a way maybe that you would think. I'm not just going there and count, say I've got 100 tins of baked beans, 50 tins of sweet corn. I'm going from my pantry and I'm actually putting the meals together and counting how many meals I can make from the foods that I have. Of course, it's all great to have, say, 100 tins of baked beans or 100 tins of pre-prepared chicken and white sauce already there. Absolutely fine. You can eat them cold and it's great. But to me, this is not the true preparedness or resilience. Having them great, they taste a-okay, and if desperate, absolutely. But my idea is, if things are a little bit tough out there, I want to make sure I can create a decent, wholesome meal for my family. You can survive on the tin of baked beans, absolutely. You can survive on the processed tin of, white chicken and white sauce and many other things. But to me, this is not the idea. So my idea is, as I said, is going through my foods and make sure I have enough of specific tins or dry goods to actually make a decent meal. So number two is trying to reduce my reliance on current supply or availability of certain foods. We're so used to the fact that we can just go to the supermarket at any point and buy anything you want, and you come home and you cook your meal that you normally cook. But what if you go to the supermarket and suddenly you can't find what you used to? So the point is trying to build this resilience and understanding that now it is a good time, trying to step out of your comfort zone and try to practice certain things. What if you go to the supermarket and you can't find what you want to cook the specific meal? So my point right now, deliberately practicing right now, substituting certain things whilst I still can, and to understand what would work instead. For example, it's a really silly example, but olive oil. I cook with the olive oil, but now I'll make a deliberate attempt now to cook with ghee. Ghee is brilliant, it tastes good, but I always have this just as a backup item in my prepper pantry, just in case I can't get olive oil. But I'm thinking about it, well, actually, it's probably a good idea to start cooking with this right now, not just when I'm cooking curries, just to give me better understanding how the flavors will work with certain things, and get used to the idea that, well, actually, things may be a little bit difficult to come across. So ourselves, as a family, the little unit, need to understand that actually maybe flavors will be slightly different when we come to cook with something that we haven't used to. Okay. At the same time, maybe, for example, if you suddenly want to cook the spaghetti bolognese and you don't have any mincemeat, then maybe it's a good idea trying to replace this with lentils and give this a go. Hopefully, guys, it gives you your understanding. It's basically stop relying on what you have, trying to just simplify your recipes to the point of finding a different and probably cheaper substitute. So next one is trying to find a different food alternatives. Now I'll be covering this on a different video, but basically you know what you and your family eat, but sometimes for the emergency we need to find some substitutes that still give us a wholesomeness, they give us some vitamins, some minerals, and are really, really flexible. Of course, it depends heavily on what you and your family consumes and what your maybe health requirements are. But I think it's very important to step out of your comfort zone and find those different things and then try to do something with them. Again, I'll cover this on a slightly different video. So next one is I'm trying to find extra growing space where possible. This is intentionally. For any of you who follows, I share with you my sort of resilience gardening and I show you what I'm currently doing. I already made certain changes of certain steps towards the better resilience in my garden for growing more fruits and vegetables. I already installed 2 raised beds in my greenhouse. I installed some arches for extra vertical growing space. But I'm looking outside in my garden, I'm thinking, what else can I do? So basically, anytime I have a possibility, I pop into this, say, Home Bargains, I'll pick up an extra pot. Okay, even if I put this away, even if I don't grow right this second, I have it there. The same goes with the potting soil as well. It's basically trying to maximize your growing space, whether you do this inside or outside. And at the same time, this year, again, I'm doing the trial again. I'm growing my cucumbers inside the kitchen as well, and some beans. Again, I've tried this experiment last year. It worked really well. I had cucumbers like 5 or 6 weeks earlier than they were in the greenhouse, and I had some green beans. And this is great. But I'm doing this again. I want to make sure there wasn't a fluke, and I'm making sure that basically it's going to work. It's nothing really specific, but it kind of gives us a little bit of an earlier harvest. And another thing I wanted to share with you when it comes to the growing, for all you who know that I do some microgreens and I do peas for pea shoots, and I grow them in soil. One of my viewers shared with me that you can actually buy from Home Bargains. It's one of those, which is the coir block. Okay, so it's a coconut. This was £1.29. You can see how tiny this is. It's very light, but if you add on 3 litres of warm water, you leave it to sit, this gives you 10 litres of compost. And I think this is absolutely brilliant. It's not the fact that you cannot get compost. Well, right now you can, but who knows what's going to be happening if everybody wants to be growing. But the point is, it can sit in home, it doesn't smell. The main point is, it doesn't have any contaminants in there. There's no bugs, there's no worms, nothing there. So for me, for example, to be able to then grow my pea shoots, this is perfect. You can just take a little bit of time, put some water in, and it's ready. £1.29 for one block, I think was absolutely brilliant. So thank you whoever shared this with me. And if you guys are interested, go and have a look. Right, the next thing I'm doing, guys, is heavily stocking up on seeds. I did this before. I normally buy seeds, but I think it's super important. And I mean like really important to buy them in bulk. Because I've noticed, say, if you look on Lidl, cheap seeds are kind of pretty much disappearing. When the season comes, it's very difficult to find affordable seeds. So I found some places online. I shared with you before on Amazon, a company called Just Seeds. I'll put the link down below. They do the seeds in bulk. Okay, it works up quite a bit cheaper. There's another company called Yorkshire Seeds, which I shared with you before. They do fairly good prices on seeds as well, and there's quite a lot of seeds in there. So my point is to make sure that it's all great, guys, when we're building resilience to say, okay, we're going to be growing, but we have to make sure that you have obviously yourself the heirloom seeds, so you can collect your own seeds where applicable, but at the same time, we have all the other instruments needed, okay, to continue growing if you have to do this for a prolonged period of time. The next is very important thing is tidying up your finances. I know it might not be applicable to everybody, but I think it is very important, because a lot of the time what's currently heading our way is going to be the financial instability or insecurity. We're talking about the increases prices of pretty much everything, and unfortunately the wages don't go up in line with what's going to be happening. So it's very important to try to get your finances in order. And I know it's easier said than done, but of course there's certain things you can do, like to move your credit card to 0% if it is, have a look at changing your deals, whether it's broadband or anything else. Every little helps, okay? Every little helps. And then try to maybe squirrel some money away if you are able to save some on your bills, just to squirrel some away just for a rainy day. I'm not a financial advisor at all. Everybody's different. What you have is different. But trying to just get some sort of an order. Get rid of certain maybe subscriptions you have. I don't know whether it's for the Amazon, the channel, or anything else. If any of you do, it's a good idea to kind of have a look at this now and make sure that your finances are streamlined. And the last one is very important one, I think, is now it's absolute perfect timing, or a must time, to start thinking about your winter fuel, right? Depends whether you're on oil, on your logs, or however way you heat your house. You either have to start a little potty to put away some money to buy a heating oil. You either buy this now. Basically, think about it. I always tell you that the best way to prepare for the future is to do this in advance. So in the summer, you prepare for the winter. In the winter, you prepare for the summer, because then there's less of a panic. Because in the winter comes the cold snap towards the end of the year, everybody going to be buying the wood or the oil if it's still available, but it's going to be sort of the mass panic, and the price is going to be going up. So the better time right now, and this is what we're going to be doing, is to basically create in the kitty and then try to get some oil as soon as possible, just to make sure you can safeguard. Because at the end of the day, although we're not relying on the the Straits to have our oil delivered, it's not the availability, it's the prices could be an issue. But With the panic buying, nobody knows. We might end up having delays in the deliveries, and nobody really wants to have a cold shower. So there we are, guys. This is my current plan of action to be able to sort of safeguard our family against what's currently happening. So hopefully, guys, you have found this video helpful. The time is right now to do what you can to make sure you're better off later on. Because when things start to change invisibly and we'll see that everybody's panicking, they'll be too late. So anyway, guys, hopefully you have enjoyed this video. Please comment down below maybe things you are doing that you think that everybody else should be doing as well to help us with what's coming. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I shall see you in the next video. Bye-bye.